A lot of AI voice agencies may land the client, close it with a great demo, however, will lose the client in 2 to 3 weeks because the agent just fall apart and does not work in production, it does not fulfill the expectations of the client and resulting just with the client leaving. Today we'll be discussing what expectations most businesses have, how you should be taking care of them in order to be able to retain these customers, okay? And by the way, I just wanted to say that I've been learning all of this while building Callflow, that it's basically a self-hosted voice agent platform for you to sell self-hosted voice agents that comply with some regulations that give you much more privacy, much more control over the infrastructure and over the agents, all of this, okay? But yeah, after finishing building Callflow, I've been selling AI voice agents and also talking with AI voice agencies that are currently using Callflow. And yeah, I'm going to be sharing all of what I've been learning. You'll have the link for Callflow down below in the description. And also, if you have any other insight that you would like to share, please share it down below in the comment. Great. So yeah, in a demo, of course, we want to sell the agent and make it look good. However, take into account that in a demo, the prompt is prepared, the use case is ideal, the color is cooperative, and so on. Okay. In production, almost nothing is controlled. People interrupt, input are messy, phone audio is bad, calendar fails, CRM fields are incomplete, on and on and on. Okay. So yeah, the demo is important to land the client, but to retain the client, we have to give consistent performance under imperfect conditions. First, inconsistent reliability kills trust fast. If the agent fails sometimes, the client may just find it unreliable and will probably just go back to human agents. Okay, if the client evaluates the agent on visible failures, the call sounded weird, the booking failed, the handoff happened. If the client cannot trust the agent, he'll get back to human agents. Okay, and it's not just, well, the AI agent just failed a couple of times. If it's just a couple every 100 calls, probably not a big issue. But if it's one failed call every 10 calls, probably you're in danger and the client just probably going to cancel and go back to human agents, depending on the pain that you're solving for them. If you are selling to business owners that they are by themselves or just have one employee, probably the AI agent it just continue going to be solving some of the pain, because in that case you're not making them save money, you are actually making them be able to answer more calls. But yet you should also keep that in mind. Okay, lack of operator observability makes improvement impossible. You should be having a lot of tools to be able to observe what is happening. In Callflow, you actually have all of this. As you can see, you have a dashboard here. We have just introduced Conductor, that is basically an AI assistant, and it can read how everything is going. However, you can go over to conversation history too, open insights, and see how everything is playing out. Okay, we are working currently on improving this timeline, and you have everything here to see how it's going, the latencies, and all of this. Okay, the evaluations, strengths, a lot of stuff. And then in Performance Hub, you also have suggestions to improve the AI agents. Okay, so that's something really important to keep in mind. I think that in retail, you also have some of these options, and probably in other softwares. So yeah, you need those. Okay, and if you're just using LiveKit, bare bones LiveKit, please make sure to at least bytecode a dashboard that lets you observe all of this. Okay, because of course, if you are not seeing all of this information, it's really hard to improve. And it's not just showing the client transcripts or call counts. You need admin side visibility, transcripts, recording, tool calls, variable values, handoff triggers, failure reasons, prompt version or flow version, and all of this. Okay, the real value is not just debugging, it's also seeing why it failed, how often it fails, and whether it changes improved or worsened the things. as I've said, you have everything here. That's why we are also building Conductor. Besides helping you create agents and call flows, we want to get Conductor to a place where you can actually trust Conductor to build agents, fully working agents and fully working call flows, but also to be able to detect actual improvements, to analyze all the insights and to actually improve the AI agents so that your clients are happy. Okay, we're striving for that. So yeah, then the conversation may work, but the workflow still breaks. This is important because, of course, in the calls, not only the conversation is important, but also all the workflows. Did the booking actually go through? Did the CRM update correctly? Did the SMS get sent? You have to make sure that everything is working, okay? This is where a lot of client disappointment comes from. The agent sounded good, okay? If you're using Cartesia, it will, of course, sound good, for example, but the business process behind it was fragile. So you have to make sure that the tool calls are being the tools actually are being called and that the agent actually is following the call flow or whatever you wanted it to follow. That's why in call flow you have call flows that it is basically drag and drop connecting nodes with each other to guide the agent from the start of the call to the end of the call. It just gives much more deterministic behavior instead of just relying on the system prompt of the agent. And of course, it also liberates the system prompt of the agent so that you can use it just to define the personality and the goals and all of this. Okay, we're handling of edge cases. This is really important. As I've said, in production, expect what it is unexpected. Okay, we could lay it out as this. Real callers speak unclearly, interrupt, have different accents, change topic, ask for exceptions, refuse to answer, and all of this. Okay, so do not just design exclusively for the happy path or for one of two obvious exceptions. You may not be able to think about all the exceptions, everything that could happen. So you need fallback logic and graceful recovery so that the failure is controlled. Okay. For example, if a tool is not called or returns an error, the agent should be handling correct. Okay. Probably just scheduling as a task for a human agent or retrying several times. Everything that you can do about it, it's probably going to be benefiting it. Okay. Of course, something I think this is much more obvious for a lot of you, but poor ownership after launch or after delivering makes clients feel abandoned. You need a good post-sales support. The client just doesn't need a working system, at least at the start. They also need to feel that someone is paying attention, someone can explain issues clearly, and someone can improve things over time. That's why it's important to have the observability to be able to improve over time. So even if the system is imperfect, strong ownership can preserve that if you're actually improving over time. But if there is a problem and the response is back or slow, the client may just mentally be preparing to leave. So what the client is actually buying, this of course will depend on your ideal customer profile or the client that you have. But if you're selling to end businesses, like that they are going to be using the AI agents for themselves instead of reselling those AI voice agents to other companies, they are probably just going to be looking for fewer missed opportunities, fewer missed calls, more appointments, less admin load, more responsiveness, more consistency, and more visibility into operations. Okay, so also they want to feel safe trusting this system with real customer interactions. As I've said a couple of minutes ago, if your client does not feel confident having this system interact with their real customers, your client is going to go back to human agents. Okay, so you really have to focus on that. So that means that the offer is really outcomes, control, operability, and trust being really important. Everything is important, of course. Outcomes is another one, but yeah. How to sell something you can actually keep running. If you're just starting out, probably you should just sell narrower before you sell broader. less magic, more control, starts with workflows that are easy to operate. Okay, so probably a simple receptionist that does a couple of stuff, and you may have sell it for $100. I don't know. Probably you should be starting with that. If you then learn how to improve, you can start making much more complex AI voice agents that probably are going to be much more useful. Or not only standalone AI voice agents, probably you could just start make teams of AI voice agents work with each other. But yeah, if you're just starting out and you're just learning with all these observability stuff with these clients, probably just start smaller. Okay, of course, if you are using Callflow, you could be using Conductor to help you with that. I think that with retail, you can also use the app for ChatGPT, or also with Cloud Code. I think that they have made a skill or something like that. You can also be using that. But yeah, so define clearly what the agent handles, what goes to a human, what happens on failure, build feedback loops early, reveal calls, reveal failed paths, handoffs, integration issues, and all of this that I have already talked about. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Remember, if you have anything that you want to share, please leave it down below in the comments. You'll have in the description the link to the Callflow website and also a link to schedule a call with the team so that we can explore if Callflow would be a solution for your business to start creating AI voice agents for other companies. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. See you on the next one.